Move that we approve the payroll claim registry period vouchers from 9/22 to 10/5 in the amount of $43,009.30, along with the vouchers for the period of 10/3 to 10/17 in the amount of $227,144.59.
Second.
Motion is second to approve the payments and vouchers as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, that motion will pass. Get a department report. We'll start off with Matt.
I have nothing for the board, sir.
Yeah, you gotta seek approval. You gotta seek approval for your 2 reserves.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
I'm sure that's what they're all here for.
Yeah.
We're not
we
that
did-
exciting.
We did interview 2 potential reserves, believe they're good to go. We have, Tommy Foltz is here now, and then, who has worked for us before. And then we have, Armando Cruz, who currently works at the jail and is also in the United States Army in the reserve program. Both of our viable candidates. Mr. Foltz here worked for several years with us before, prior to me being going to Auburn, but he's back. So I'm asking for permission to seek their appointment.
We did have a police board meeting by phone, text, where we get together. Tracy and Darren are on that. They gave their verbal approval, so then it goes to the board of works, and we approve that, then we'll take it to council.
What were the officers' names?
Tommy Foltz, FULTZ, and Armando Cruz.
I move that we approve officers Tom Foltz and Armando Cruz, for the approval to the reserve officers for LRPD.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve Armando Cruz and Thomas Foltz as reserve officers. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, that motion will pass. Like I said, then we'll bring that swearing in up at the council.
That's all I have.
It's totally up to you.
Seems, I think we'll go ahead and do that now if you don't mind.
I absolutely
We'll
do.
do the swearing in, that way you guys don't have to sit here for everything else.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
There he goes. Mr. Cruz, which one? Please. I'm gonna have you, Mayor's gonna swear you in, okay? Is that right? Is that in your leadership?
If anyone wants to get a picture, they can come over here, take a picture, whatever. Raise your right hand. I, Armando Cruz,
I, Armando Cruz,
do solemnly swear
swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
and laws of the United States of America,
and laws of the United States of America,
the Constitution and laws of the State of Indiana,
the Constitution and laws of the State of Indiana,
and the charters and ordinances of the City of Butler,
Charter and ordinances of the City of Butler.
and I will faithfully perform
I will faithfully perform
the duties of a reserve police officer
the duties of a reserve police officer
for the City of Butler,
for the City of Butler,
to which I have been appointed.
which I have been appointed. Thank you, sir.
All right, Thomas.
Mr. Foltz. Congratulations,
So now you're.
I'll do two.
No, you're good. I think it's wrong. I thought you were just-
No. I can walk now, it's just, lots of work. And increments and improvement.
Raise your right hand.
It's driving me crazy, trust me.
I, Thomas Foltz, do solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
and laws of the United States of America,
and the laws of the United States of America,
the Constitution and laws of the state of Indiana,
the Constitution and the laws of the state of Indiana,
and the charters and ordinances of the city of Butler.
the charter and ordinances of the city of Butler.
I will faithfully perform
I will faithfully perform
the duties of a reserve police officer
the duties of a reserve police officer
of the city of Butler,
in the city of Butler,
which I have been appointed.
which I have been appointed.
So just so everybody's aware, we're doing a little twist at this time. They still have to go through the 40-hour pre-basic, both of them do. Tommy's been through it before, so they did a time lapse, he's gonna have to repeat it again. But they will not actually be working until they complete that 40-hour pre-basic. So we're kind of doing it from back and front this time, just so we don't have to worry about it later if they haven't completed it at a different rate or a different time. Because the first several hours is book work on the computer, and then the last firearms and pistol tactics are actually physical. So they can go a little slower, a little faster than each other, and big pin around. So just so you're aware.
So anybody wants to leave because, sorry,
Yeah,
you're more than
yeah.
welcome to.
You stay. You guys want to stick around and for me, okay? So you're good to go. Thank you, guys. Congrats, too. Thank you. Yeah, congratulations. We'll start with that.
Stay.
Sure. That was
Come on, make sure you stop by the PD, and they copy that, but it's more for Thanks.
You have anything else, Matt?
No, sir. Armando is also bilingual, so if we have a need for a translator, he'll be available. So I'll just FYI. Ashley, but it goes to the telecommunications or telephone or whatever.
All right, Ron.
Okay. I want to follow up with the same thing. We opened up for a few paid on-call or part-time firefighters to help supplement, basically our daytime shifts and looking into some nighttime. We opened it up, we were trying to get at least 4 to 6 and stuff, but we had 2, had 3 that actually applied. 2 made it through the early processes, which involved physical agility course and interview processing. And with Bill and Christy, we interviewed both of them. They're both Concord firefighters presently, and they both did a real good job on the agility course, and they both did a really good job, I thought, in the interview process. They're very young, but they have all of their credentials, they have all of our CEUs and everything, and they both seem to be extremely gung-ho about going on to the future in firefighting, which kind of works really in our favor because they're gonna wanna try to work as much as they can for us, and maybe a few times when I throw them into some late night stuff, hopefully if we go. The first one is Malin Schmucker. He's out of the southern part of Concord area, and then we have Zachary Jones. Both of them are in that 22, 23, 24, 28-year-old, right there in that range of people. So they haven't had a tremendous amount of time in the fire service, but they've had a lot of training hours. So I think they're gonna be a really good asset for us, especially with the ones that are already there, with the paid on call staff that we have, which is very seasoned. So they're gonna learn, actually I've got a pretty big matrix of stuff that they're gonna be going through, but I'd like your approval to put those guys on and to kind of see if we can't strengthen up our staff, you might say, for our early one, for our daytime shifts. So asking for the board to okay that.
And the fire board did meet and give their vote of approval as well. And they met the email.
Okay. And Christie and Bill both interviewed them, so if you have any questions, they might be able to add a little bit more than what I did.
I think the thing that struck me the most was they both said, we just wanna help people. And they did seem very gung-ho about joining Butler.
Yeah, they didn't say anything about the money, so it's like, so I really kind of jumped at that.
Anything you wanna add to it, Bill?
Yeah, they did interview very well, I thought, and really seemed to be ready to grab the ball and run with it, so I was impressed.
I move we approve the fire department to add 2 part-time hires to the roll call.
I second.
A motion is second to approve the 2 part-time firefighters, Zachary Jones and what was the other one, Ron?
Zachary Jones and Malin Schmucker.
Malin Schmucker. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, that motion will pass.
Thank you.
Get it down to the water line project.
I got one more stuff before that.
Here comes
As
the
most
money.
of you guys knew, we actually have already covered, I think, the air packs and stuff, we got a grant for that, and that grant program did come through, and we were approved for it, so the air packs are going to be, as soon as they get back in session and we get the government back going again, and FEMA releases the funds, we'll have a meeting, we'll get all that stuff taken care of, which basically puts us into the next step, which will cost us a little bit. So I'm just gonna kind of give you some forewarning on this. We have to update our cascade system, our fill site, that's on station, to take it from the 4,500 that it is now, stuff to 6,000. That's what the new air packs pretty much across the board. You can get 4,500 yet, but they're kind of going obsolete. But also the one that we have right now is 40-some years old. So we've had it a long time, we've got our money's worth. But I would like to at least give you guys some heads up that I'm gonna try to get at least 3 quotes on. And also the other part of it is we're looking at some grants for that too. Don't know exactly how we'll be able to get into that since we just came off of this grant program. And they usually only let you do 1 grant per year per se. So I'm hoping that maybe if we get into the next year, that would be something that we can apply for. We're still gonna search for that because Indiana is actually doing some inside the fire service grants for this. So I'm hoping to get it. It's gonna run anywhere between 45,000 and I'm gonna say 57,000. That's what they run. And the 3 that I like the most and the ones that have been most reliable through the world around us and stuff, there's a new one that's coming out that everybody around us has actually bought and they love them, and that's called Arctic. And it's done with Hoosier Fire, and that's one of the quotes that I'll get. And then the other one is Bauer, which is also the same brand as what we have right now. And the other one is Mako, and that's one that we see a lot in other, like I think, I know Angola's got one, I think Auburn has one, but those are reliable units. So that price tag is relatively the same for all of them. And that includes the whole thing. So we'll try to figure out what to do with the old system, whether we sell that roll it into a trade-in or something. But, just like your approval, pursue that also and go on to getting that, because we'll need that to actually get the new bottles filled. So we'll have to figure out some way to do it.
Move that we approve, the fire chief to, continue, looking for 3 potential, quotes, within the price range of $45,000 to $57,000.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to give chief permission to obtain 3 more quotes as presented, and we just discussed there. So all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, that motion will pass.
Thank you. Okay, now, this is a big one, something that we've been working on for probably a year or so. The water line, the domestic water coming into our building out there and stuff, when the building was built, was undersized. It was a 2-inch line that supports the whole water domestic side in our building out there. Needless to say, with the EMS and us, there's very little pressure if you're flushing the toilet, washing the car, and trying to make a cup of coffee, okay? And the fact is that actually will get to the point, and Andy has seen this firsthand, is as you're holding the nozzle and stuff, if you open up the nozzle somewhere else, it goes about 1/2 the distance, and it wasn't very far in the beginning. So what we're looking at is actually improving that just in the Bay Area itself. The domestic side will stay in the living quarters and in the office area that's already being supplied. But what we want to do and stuff, and this is for future development, especially if we go and expand out like what we had talked about with another water tower and stuff like that in the future, running a 4-inch to the already existing 6-inch line that runs on to our hydrant on the outside, and bringing that into the building and running it into as a fill site, actually interior fill site in 3 different locations, and pretty much just giving us something to volume wise to use. So I'm going to actually have Andy explain this a little bit, because he has been fabulous at getting all of the people involved, the different contractors at great rates, I should say, and so I asked him to look into it, and he actually just took the football from me and ran with it and wouldn't let me come back on it. He's faster than I am. So he did a fantastic job. So I'm going to turn it over to Andy and let him explain that.
Yeah, so the quotes you guys have seen, I got 2 quotes from contractors. I tried to get 3, I only got 2. So that's basically getting it from where I'm gonna leave it outside the building. It's gonna come up through the floor and get run 3 access points, fill water with, on 3 different sides of the building. This includes the backflow, a meter, and all the connections and shut-offs inside. There'll be 3 different quotes for materials for me to hook onto that 6-inch line out in the drive. And then from there, I got 1 directional boring quote to get underneath the parking lot. And that's all I would need to get it to the building, let the contractors take over from there. Both of these contractors I've seen work for personally. TNT Mechanical, I felt were a little bit more methodical in their quoting process, and lo and behold, they're the cheapest of the 2 I got. So I would ask if you approve the TNT Mechanical bid, and I believe utility supply were the cheapest for materials for me. And then we only have 1 company we can get a meter through, so we're stuck on that one.
I don't recall, how old is that building? Mark?
Oh, there's that bill.
It's getting, I think if I remember right, it's right at 14,
It was built in 2009.
2009.
We had a 2-inch pipe going into it then, but that was adequate for what we had.
No, never has been. Actually, that was one of the biggest complaints that I heard from the moment that I started in there. It was an oversight when they did the final inspections on it. And, there was nothing ever bid for that particular project for a 4-inch or anything else from what I'm understanding. Looking at the prints, 'cause that was one of the things that was always been a problem. They had no pressure there. And the information they were getting was it was at a dead end, it was too far away from the water tower, everything else. And it's like, that didn't make sense to me. So I pursued it a little bit more by looking at the prints. And sure enough, you can see where it was at, right across. And then that was the only line coming into that building. And then, of course, when they did the plumbing originally and stuff, when they put it in, Andy's looked at it. We've got a couple of backflow preventers on the 2-inch coming in. The restriction is terrible. I mean, it goes right down to 1.25 inches right off the bat in one area and 1 inch on the other side. So it separates and, you know, it's been a problem ever since day
I was
one.
just curious, it just didn't seem like it wasn't adding up to me when I was.
Yeah, so the problem that they're having currently is that every time they fill a truck from the inside fill, there's no pressure inside the building to even flush a toilet. So granted, you have a 2-inch line coming in, they're filling with 2.5-inch lines, which there goes all your pressure and volume.
Yeah, there.
You know, the 2-inch that's a supply out in the base, it goes from 1.25 inches coming into the building back to a 2-inch out in the base. And, you know, to do that kind of, I mean, you can tell where that kind of diminishes itself. So if we're filling grass rig or anything like that, we literally cannot wash a truck at the same time.
Well, it sounds like it's needed. I just was curious about the history behind it, why.
That was a question that has been really asked by everybody that was, you know, because some of them, the ones that were there when the building was built, they weren't privy to it, and they didn't know anything about that until the day they moved in. By that time, all the finals were signed and everything was done. It was just, like I said, it was an oversight. They didn't suspect that was the issue, and I think is what it was.
Okay.
So there's 4 purchase orders on this, so I'll present them individually then. You guys can vote on them. Sound all right?
That's fine.
So the first one will be, special purchase request to, hire T&T Plumbing to do the labor and plumbing out there at the building for $47,980.
I move that we approve T&T, from Pringer to the labor for water. Line going and plumbing for the building.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve T&T to do the work out at the fire station, not to exceed $47,988. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, that motion will pass. Second one will be the water meter for Ferguson. $63.63
I move that we approve, the special purchase request from Ferguson for the water meter and the amount of $6,363.01.
Second.
Motion and second to approve the water meter from Ferguson as presented. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Hearing none, motion will pass. Next will be the one from Utility Supply Company, that'd be for all the fittings.
I move that we approve, the special purchase request, from Utility Supply Company, Ferguson, EJP, in the amount of $3,168.
Second.
Motion and second to approve the purchase order from Utility Supply Company as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, that motion will pass. And the last one will be the directional boring.
I move that we approve Cooper's directional boring for the special purchase request, regarding the boring of the new water line to the, firehouse building, in the amount of $2,204.80.
Second.
Motion and second to approve the Cooper directional boring PO is presented. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, that motion will pass. Is that it, Ron?
That is it. Thank you.
Done spent your piggy bank, so.
I know. You have to start selling some chickens.
All right. We'll move on here. Matt, you wanna go back to yours, or you waiting for council, or?
Wait for council.
All right, Stuart,
I have nothing for Board of Works.
Braxton.
I have one item, I just got this, well, I got it on Friday, but I was finally able to get to the email since I was gone on Friday, on this afternoon. Just a single sheet by itself, it should say tiny MDM on the top. I put it on all of your desks up there as well. This is just a yearly, cost of $360. That's quoted for 15 devices. They're $24 per device for a year and 15 of them. I only currently have 9 devices I'm gonna enroll, about to be 10. And that's just to kind of give myself a little wiggle room in case we need to add some more, in case an iPad dies tomorrow and we need to put an Android tablet on. Just to give me some wiggle room for now. Our trial that we're currently on is gonna expire in, I think it's 13 days, so just under the next meeting, so I tried to bring this in as quickly as I could. But that would just be a one-time per year cost to just keep that. So I wanted to bring that in. I wasn't sure if I had to bring all contracts or not, so I just better safe than sorry. So.
What was that total amount?
The total amount is $360. It's $24 per device. And this is quoted at 15 devices. We're at 9, we'll be 10. I could see that number going up in the future, but not in the next couple months. The other tablets are working currently.
The suppliers, ARS and Nova Systems, or is it tiny?
It's tiny MDM. This is just one of the most credible and most affordable Android management software. They're actually based out of France. And that's part of the other thing with the wiggle room is that I just need to work out how tax exempt works and wiring money and all that stuff. So I just need to make sure I'm well equipped with overhead for that. But I just don't want the devices to go out of management before the next Board of Works meeting.
I move we approve the IT department to, purchase the tiny MDM license through ARS Nova Systems, not to exceed $360.
Second.
Motion and second to approve the tiny MDM contract as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, that motion will pass.
Thank you.
Andy,
I have, one item on the agenda for the Board of Works. Since I started the, skid steer that's shared between the 3 departments, has given us quite a bit of issues. It's one of our oldest pieces of equipment that we have in the city. So I took and went, we got 3 quotes from Callister, John Deere, and Bobcat. Those you have in front of you there. Bobcat came in the cheapest, and we also have the cheapest trade-in value. I'll explain a little bit on that. We don't have to do the yearly trade-in. What that is, theoretically, if we purchase this machine today, next October, they deliver us a brand new machine, same model, same specs, and we trade in that machine and pay the $3,500. We get a brand new machine, low hour, brand new. Low hour for them to trade in or resell, brand new for us. We don't have to do that. From what I've seen here at Butler, we take pretty good care of the equipment. That'd be a choice on you guys if you want to do the trade-in or not. We don't have to. Both Bobcat and John Deere do that. McAllister does not. All 3 of these machines are the exact same, 74 horsepower, about the same tonnage, same lifting capacity. Everything's pretty much the same. Bobcat did come in cheaper. I would move to see if you guys would approve the Bobcat skid steer for the water. Looks like it's getting split 2 ways, not the 3 ways. Okay. So 2 ways between motor vehicle highway and water.
is this something if we decide that 3 months from now we want to jump on and do that yearly contract that they'll honor?
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, we can hop on, we trade Board and hop onto that yearly.
we've had this discussion before, whether we want to do something like this, or whether we go to the mindset, we're gonna take care of our equipment, we don't expect to get, 12, 15 years out of them, and not out of it, so.
We typically exceed 250 hours.
No, I did in Waterloo, we had a trading equipment, we got about 160 to 180 hours a year on it. And we were using that, I don't know, maybe once or twice a week, off and on. We're not contractors by any means. I think the street department probably puts the most amount of hours during snow plowing season. That's really about it. 180 hours, I'd see max. I mean, it is a good program. It's good for them and us both. I mean, they take our machine that we use, low hour machine for them. They trade it in, they make money on it. We get a brand new machine for $3,500. So, I see pluses and minuses for both, but we're not set on doing it.
Yeah, so the track must be at least 50% wear, no more than 250 hours.
And this would be something that we could look at even in the spring.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would assume you could probably look at it almost up to the annual date.
What's that?
As long as you, excuse me, as long as you fulfill the terms of the 250 hours and the 50% February,
Yeah.
they'll probably almost give you right up until
Yeah, probably.
1 year.
I think Mark probably put a couple $1,000 in that control panel here sometime this year. So it's 14-year-old piece of equipment.
Yeah. I don't have anything else on that, do you?
I'm good with it.
I move that we approve the, water department's ask to purchase a new Bobcat skid steer. Their purchase order amount, requested at $51,447.30.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the purchase of the Bobcat as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, that motion will pass.
Thank you.
Gavin?
Hey, I have one thing, at the SDI lift station, we have a PLC that runs the lift station out there. It went bad after we had a power blip out there, we're not 100% sure if it was from the power blip. That went bad, so that lift station, drywall and the storm water lift station, they all run off transducers. And we have a new controller in those other two lift stations that we really like, and so if we get a new PLC, we'll have to call Donahue come in and reprogram it, because we don't have the software to do it. This controller, American Pump will be able to put in. I don't have quotes for it right now. They said it would be between $2 and $3 grand for the controller, and then whatever their cost for labor to install it. As soon as I get those numbers, I'll get them too, but we did put the order in because it's a kind of emergency, because we're only running on our backup floats right now. And it's that huge water. I mean, it's more than 50% of our flow through the lift station, so. Yeah, I'll get those numbers over to you as soon as I get them.
And then we'll just do it go for approval. Since it's an emergency situation.
Yeah, it's emergency, you got it ordered, we just don't have a price on it, so.
Yeah.
Either give them emergency approval now or
Yeah.
do it through.
Just so we set a number on it to not exceed.
You need to do 3,000 and come in at 3,200.
Well, that's what I say, like a $5,000 cap. That'd be outright.
Be more than plenty.
Probably.
You said they told you 2 to 3?
2 to 3 for the controller, I don't know what their labor rates
Can't
are.
imagine labor would be
I don't think so.
a whole lot on that. $5,000.
Yeah, we got to 5, and then
Okay.
we have to amend it when we come back and get an actual invoice again.
Okay. I move that we approve, the emergency funding for the, PLC controller at the lift station to be replaced along, that will cover the labor and parts.
Second.
Motion and second to do emergency approval for the control of the SDI lift station as presented. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Hearing none, that motion will pass.
Thank you. I did not receive the quotes for the South Broadway project quite yet. I got one of them, I'm still waiting on the other two. That's all I have.
Deviate from our agenda real quick here. See Jesse's out here from Westler in the crowd, if you want to come up to the podium. Every last week I gave you the information, where Westler provides some services for our water asset management plan. We originally budgeted $45,000 for that project. They have gone over by
40%.
yeah, about 8, where's that?
It was a little over 18,000.
18,000? Yeah, and by the letter that you have here, they're not looking to recoup the entire 18,000. They did come back and want to recoup, I believe, 6,500. So you guys give you the paperwork and everything last week. You got your packet here, because I'd asked for the packet over how much we paid out going forward on this, when there were some draws on it, what departments, withdrawals, charges, everything. So you have everything there in front of you. I want Jesse to come here, and if you guys had any questions, ask her. I know she doesn't like to come here and, under these circumstances, but sometimes that's.
What was notice sent to us for the overage for the project budget?
I think I first discussed it with the mayor, remember, sometime in the summer, maybe.
In August, you sent me the bill on this or whatever.
Yeah, and that was when we had, gone over. I think we knew some of it was ours, which is why we're not going after all of it, but also trying to, wrap it up and work with, financial, it's Baker Tilly, right? Okay. Work with Baker Tilly to wrap up the AMP, because that was the last component requirement as far as, your SRF loan for the North Broadway project. So we really kept pushing on it. So yeah, that's when I discussed it with the mayor, I guess would be this summer, and I think it was right about when we completed or near completion of the AMP.
And that's when you had your final numbers, like, did you guys find any of this coming in July or June? Because I do recall when we discussed this, that you guys would give us formal written notice, if you were approaching, any sort of, contract balance become due. So we were kind of made aware on it, as it was ongoing. I know that was one of our requests, and you guys promised us on that, so that I understand projects go over budget. But I'm just kind of curious what your guys' process was, leading into that, instead of sending us a $20,000 invoice, which I understand you're not asking for all of it, but what was your process to get to that number, and how long did it take?
To get to the 6,500 number,
Oh, no, to the $18,000, when you guys realized you were $20,000 over the budget, and it was agreed.
I think we realized along the way, along the process of getting it done, that there were also, more meetings, I guess, required. I know initially we started this asset management plan with Scott Lanning, and then we met with Jason and Gavin Hayden, who worked with the water department. At that time, there was nobody with the water department, so we worked with them, just trying to get all the information and documentation needed for the asset management plan. So the process just drew out a lot longer than we had wanted to. And I think a certain amount of overage as a company You know, and personally, as a project manager, we can overlook, and I think we were really hoping to wrap it up at some point. And then we met with the mayor and Mark Klein, and I think it just extended far beyond what we intended to, and far beyond the point of, okay, we need to recoup some of this cost. Not all of it, because I agree with you, I think at some point it should have been addressed, but I do think a little overage, I'm willing to eat the cost and just wrap it up for the sake of the project. But there were just a few more meetings and, a few more trips to Butler than we anticipated.
As a project manager myself, I usually budget within about 10% of a contracted cost with my project planning. Would you be willing to be at the 4,500 rate outside of the 6,500 rate? That you're looking for to recoup on this?
I think, yeah, I think they would be okay with accepting some kind of recoup, sure.
Bob, what are your thoughts?
I was just looking, you know, of that overage, 64% of that was the engineer. Up to 18,000. So that was my question, was there, you know, what was going on that was causing the engineer to spend so much? Obviously, it wasn't budgeted for that much. It looks like that must be where the bulk of this overrun came from. Because 40% overrun's a lot, especially with no notice that you're even getting close to the threshold, so. I think you've explained a lot of it. I'm kind of with Justin, I think if we could get to the $4,500 threshold in terms of 10% overrun, that'd be fair.
A motion then? I would go ahead if you would like to.
Go ahead.
Is that, just before we do that, is that something we can be in agreement with at the $4,500? Fine. Then I move that we, approve $4,500, for Butler Engineering, to help cover some of the, overage of the contract balance of the project, as presented.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve $4,500 payment to Butler for overage on the project. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, that motion will pass. All right, thank you, Jesse.
Thank you.
Don, nothing for the board works. Okay. Angela.
I have I hope are two very quick items. First item is, I had a resident ask if they could receive the summer sprinkling credit now, even though the summer sprinkling credit has technically ended, because they have installed sod and new grass and need to keep watering it. In theory, it's the same type of adjustment as for pools or an outside spigot leaking. If someone's outside spigot was leaking, we would grant such a thing.
Do we do that for new structures being built?
No, we have not done
They
it.
put in the yard?
No,
See, they ever asked.
but no one has ever asked either.
I have.
It wasn't granted to me.
What's that?
It wasn't granted to me,
You planned it outside of the
I
summer.
didn't plant some, and I had it irrigated, and I had to put a lot of water down, and we didn't agree, like us. Because the spring breaks was open.
Have we ever agreed to doing this in the past?
No,
No. And I think we should maintain that,
okay,
in my opinion.
okay.
Probably ought to look at maybe somewhere down the road.
Yeah.
Kind of,
Maybe down the road we can end it, but right now I think we should.
Okay, I will pull some information and we can look into it this winter
Yeah.
on venting stuff. Okay. My other item is the utility office is required to look at our rules for identity theft protection every year. I have done that. They're called the red flag rules, and we do not need any changes made, so I just needed to make that official record.
Bobby, anything for the board works?
I have nothing for the board.
Justin?
I do not.
I do not have anything. Does anybody in the audience have anything for the board works before we adjourn? All right,
I move we adjourn.
Second.
7:21, we'll start up here at 7, so.